I think, for them to have. It's probably, wait again, push this into the long grass, and they need to go to the unitary authority. That's my personal opinion, but Kat?
Well, I was going to try and clarify, if they fail to be core rates, why they're confident they can be core rate by 7. I know they've mentioned hospitalisation, but there's a democratic process. No councillors were elected, and it's unfortunate for them. But I'm struggling to understand the logic of this request.
Yeah, agreed. I am too. Councillor Human.
I think the logic behind it is that if you've got a bigger pool of councillors to draw on, there's less chance of them not being there. As in, they've got 5, and during COVID they had a number of illnesses, so they were sort of down to 1 or 2 that could attend, whereas if they had 7, then more people could attend. I think that's the idea behind it. What was the core rate number again? 3. Is the core rate the same for 7 as it is for 5? It's still the same 3? Yeah. So you only need 3 people to be off at the same time, whereas with 7, there's less chance. That's why.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I think in principle it would be really good for them to have more council. Timing is as ever. And unfortunately, we've got no representation from the parish council here either. But yeah, so I think deep down, would be something we'd be happily support if we could. Well, personally, if we could. But for me, I think it's this is something way down the line, and a unitary authority needs to deal with it, because we don't even know which. There'll be a boundary review. We don't know which parish, where they'll be. Who will they sit under? I mean, it's a little bit strange. Yeah? And then Charlie.
Sorry, it's early in the electoral term to decide. Well, at this stage, it is bad timing always around. It may be in a year or so, those members that can't attend now are better and can attend, and therefore there wouldn't be the need to increase the number. So I'm always round. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I basically agree with what everybody else has said, and just point out that they had an election in May, so those of them that didn't feel they could go on occasion stood, did they? I mean, they're back to 5. If the quorum is 3, I don't really see what they're, and there are only 350 electors, and if you look down the table that we've provided, they're well in the range of other councils of their size. So I don't really see the logic either. Sorry.
Yeah, I that on is from a point of view of my ignorance of knowledge and the knowledge of how this worked out. But if you're saying there's only 350 electors, is it for example, is it 5 is what is the required number of 350? Is that how it works? Or I mean, how I think there was no way that we can even assist them by saying we don't mind you having 7. I mean, I know it sounds silly that, but I mean they can't co-opt, they can't. There's no process of law. They have to go through this formal ancient process. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, there you are. That's a time. Yeah. So, is this Magna Carta? We're going to go back to Magna Carta. Probably.
They also can't co-opt because there aren't any vacancies to co-opt.
No,
so, yeah. So.
I'm just using a term that I know. The only thing I know at all. Have assistants, have deputies, or nothing.
Louise?
I think just to answer that question, back in the day,
Yeah.
pre-2007, when the parishes were created, it was all about electoral equality, and every parish council was given a minimum of 5 seats. And before the Public Involvement Health Act came in 2007, they could just write to us, whatever the committee was before it was licensed for the general purposes, just general purposes, I think, and say, I want to increase my councillors. And we would say, yes, you can. And now there's a formal process of the community governance review to do that.
Councillor?
Thank you, Chairman. I noticed in the report that in at the last elections in May that they only actually had 5 nominations. So when was the last time they actually had a contested election? And if they did get it up to 7, will they be having just vacancies that they can't fill?
Not in my time. I've been here for 17 years and they've never had a contested election. And they don't get a lot of resignations. If we were in a co-option situation or before co-option situation, we've never had a situation where people are requesting election by way of 10 signatures.
I also understand any review would have to be would take 12 months anyway. So we wouldn't be here in 12 months' time anyways. Correct.
Correct, yeah, that's it.
I think they really should have thought of this about a year ago or more. And for that and other reasons, I would propose that we don't accept the proposal for them to have 2 extra.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that? Hello, yeah, everyone. Any counter proposals? No? Okay, so we've got Kathy proposing we don't support it and seconded by, let's go for Stuart. All those in favour? That's the team, that's unanimous, so, yeah. Okay, well, that does make sense, and then hopefully, in the future, they can get their act together in time for elections and do it through a unitary authority. That would be great. Okay, thank you very much. Next up on the agenda was just look at the panels we've had. Couple, haven't there?
Yes, so
Is 3 just for members to note the panels that have taken place since our last meeting?
Yeah.
4 of them.
And then, well, that's it then. Christus, is it? Well, that's it. So we'll end our meeting today at 12 minutes past 3. Thank you very much for attending.